Go.
Just the place for the snark, the bellman cried as he landed his crew with care, supporting each rat at the top of his tide with a finger entwined in his hair. There's no audio?
No, there's like an audio
With a finger entwined in his hair. Just the place for the snark. I've said it twice. That alone should encourage the crew. Just the place for the snark. I've said it thrice, but I say 3 times must be true. The crew was completed, included a boots, a maker of bonnets and hoods, a barrister brought to arrange the disputes, and a broker to value the goods, a billiards maker whose skill was immense, who perhaps had won more than his share, and a billiard maker whose skill was immense, perhaps had won more than his share, and a baker engaged at an enormous expense, had the whole of their cash in his care. There was also the beaver that sat on the deck or sat making lace on the bow. Had often the bellman said save them from wreck, though none of the sailors knew how. There was the one who was famed for the number of things he forgot when he entered the ship. His umbrella, his something, all his coats and his rings, and the clothes he had found for the trip. He had bought for the trip. He had 42 boxes, all carefully packed with his name printed clearly on each. But since he omitted to mention that fact, they were all left behind on the beach. The loss of his clothes hardly mattered because he had 7 coats on when he came, with 3 pairs of boots, but the worst of it was he had wholly forgotten his name. He would answer to hi or any loud cry, such as "Prime, your fritter, my wig." To what you recall him, what was his name but especially thingamajig? For those who preferred a more intimate word, he had different names for these. His intimate friends called him Candlelight, and his enemies toasted cheese. His form is ungainly, his intellect small, so the bellman would often remark, but his courage is perfect, and that, after all, is the thing that one needs with a snark. He would laugh with hyenas, returning their stare with an impudent wag of his head. He once went a walk paw in paw with a bear just to keep up his spirits, they said. He came as a baker, but owned when too late in the stroke the poor bellman half mad, who would only bake Biden's cake, for which I may state no materials were to be had. The last of the crew needs a special remark, though he appeared an incredible dunce. He had just one idea, but that one being snark, the good bellman engaged him at once. He came as a butcher, but solemnly stated, when the ship had been sailing 1 week, he could only kill beaver. The bellman looked scared and was almost too frightened to speak. The beaver, who happened to hear the remark, protested with tears in his eyes. Not even the rapture of catching a snark could atone for the dismal surprise. The butcher should be conveyed on a separate ship, but the bellman said that would never agree for the plans he had made for the trip. Navigation itself was a difficult art, though with only 1 ship or 1 bell. The bellman declined on his part, undertaking another as well. The beaver's last course was, of course, to procure a second-hand dagger-proof coat, so the baker advised and also ensure his life in some office's note. Then I forget a verse, and then the last verse is...
Don't know that one.
The last verse is...
Veggie Tales.
Yes, this is a good one. All 3 of these. Really like the Esther one. What was the last verse? Whenever the butcher is west, the beaver would... Dang it, I can't remember the last 2 verses. Office of note. Oh, ensure 1 against fire and 1 against damage from hail. Ever since that sorrowful day, whenever the butcher was by, the beaver would look the opposite way and appear unaccountably shy. That was Fit the First of the Hunting of the Snark by Lewis Carroll. Woo!
You did well with standing the